So just to update you, we've got a victory for Marcus Allen. He is the whistleblower, one of the two whistleblowers you saw. They testified about it 13 months ago to Congress in the Weaponization Committee, which is part of the committee on the judiciary, and so Chairman Jordan's committee, and they testified to different acts, but the same retaliation for even raising their hand to question the acts within the FBI. In Marcus Allen's case, I want to play this sound from you. You may remember he's getting attacked by Democrats on the committee, and they're trying to tie him to Twitter accounts even that aren't his. You might remember this one. Take a listen or watch.
Mr. Allen, have you ever used Twitter, yes or no?
I have utilized Twitter, yes. Ma'am.
Okay, and is your account at Marcus A970-50645?
That is absolutely not my account.
Okay, that's not your account. Well, on December 5th, 2022, an account under the name Marcus Allen retweeted a tweet that said,
That
quote,
is not my account, ma'am.
You haven't let me finish the question, sir.
Might have been the football player.
You haven't let me finish the question. And the time is mine. On December 5th, 2022, an account under the name of Marcus Allen retweeted a tweet that said, quote, Nancy Pelosi staged January 6th, retweet if you agree, end quote. Do you agree with the statement that this person tweeted that Nancy Pelosi staged January 6th? Yes or no?
No.
Thank you.
I mean, that's not his. He literally tells the member of Congress, it's not my account, and will, yet she keeps going, trying to tie. I mean, again, there are other people named Marcus Allen, but it's not his account. I don't think he would have claimed that to Congress under oath unless he knew it wasn't his account. And yet still, she didn't just say, okay, fine, and move on. They have to just read what their staff prepared for.
That's right. And specifically, the tweet was about whether or not the tweet said Nancy Pelosi staged January 6th. And so she's asking him about a tweet. And when he says it's not my account, she still has to push, one, because the staffer prepared it for her, but push, well, do you agree with this other random Marcus Allen on Twitter? Which is an absurd thing. That's almost like meeting someone with the same name as you. If you met another Jordan Seculo, now in your case, maybe you are related, but saying, oh, we have the same name, maybe we're related. It's just such an absurd juxtaposition that they're trying to draw him to an anonymous random Twitter user and say, this guy clearly is an insurrectionist. That's the bottom line. They were trying to claim this decorated veteran and employee of the year for the Charlotte field office was an insurrectionist.
We're joined by our chief counsel, Jay Seculo, my dad. And Dad, I wanted to kind of underscore this for people because, you know, we reminded them that this has been a 13-month battle for the ACLJ, a 2-year battle for Marcus Allen. It's a continued battle for Garrett O'Boyle, where we're preparing a reply brief against the FBI in federal court this Friday to get this vindication so that ultimately we can get to the change in the laws so that future whistleblowers don't have to go through this process. But to me, it was like, it's a great example to our donors. They don't have to follow this every day. They don't have to live this every day. But maybe they donated 22 months ago. They may not even remember donating that day, but to see that their donation's at work.
Well, this is it. I mean, it's a gigantic win. You and I were talking about this last night. I mean, it is very rare that the government will concede a case, which is what they've done here, and reinstate a security clearance. Usually, and they have done this in cases we're involved in, they dig their heels in. But in this particular case, we pushed back very aggressively. As you mentioned, Garrett O'Boyle case, we are in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia on that one. That's where that actually starts the litigation there at the Court of Appeals. But I cannot underscore enough the significance of this win. It's a win for Marcus Allen, but as important, it's a win for the American people, that a whistleblower will not be denied their security clearance, which ends up becoming how they make a living. Jordan, as you mentioned, this was a decorated military veteran, a decorated member of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and when they lose their security clearance, they are basically unemployable at that time. And here we've seen not only the reestablishment of his security clearance, which will change his family's trajectory, but also a vindication of his rights, that he was well within his rights when he spoke out, and the government had to concede that he did nothing that violated his clearance. So that's a huge win. I mean, I think it's in the realm of security clearance, it's the biggest win we've ever seen.
Yes, I mean, I think that's important to underscore because most of the time, folks aren't going to hear about these cases because there aren't cases. I mean, usually, but we've seen specifically, we're talking to Tristan Levitt before, and it's the FBI that's got this unique power to kind of suspend you, to put you in this suspense situation where you're not getting paid, but you've got your security clearance that you're fighting for, and so you really can't go get another job because without that, the security clearance, or you'd have to start a new career at some point. These are usually folks, again, who already had served in Iraq, already had served in the military, and again, without that security clearance, it's a dark mark on your service to try and go get another job somewhere else. That they still have this power, which we are fighting with Garrett O'Boyle, but it also, I mean, Dad, because they suspend your pay, it's not like he could go hire a law firm to fight this out for him for years. He had no money coming in.
Well, not only did he have no money, but it's kind of like being removed from the military with a dishonorable discharge.
Yes.
I mean, it's a mark against your record that is almost impossible to overcome in a lifetime. And you're talking about legal expenses. You know, the FBI was able to put these agents and analysts in a very, very difficult position because, as you said, they didn't fire them, but they suspended their security clearance. They suspended them without pay. They ruled that they could not accept gifts from third parties. So they were basically rudderless. There was nothing they could do to support their family. And here, again, a huge thank you to our ACLJ members because we had the ultimate victory here, which is the reinstatement of that security clearance. You can't get a bigger win than that.
No, and I want to underscore that. Let's underscore that part for people, too, because to fight this out, I mean, usually it's not this – you don't even get this publicly. So we had a year and a month ago, we had the testimony that we played for people before Congress. But to actually get that vindication and receive that letter, we could put, I don't know if we've got it for the screen, we could put up on the screen from the FBI,
yeah, we can put that up.
of the reinstatement of a top secret security clearance. That is something, again, Dad, I've never seen before, but I think it sets that predicate for the future as well, for Garrett O'Boyle's case, and for others who feel like they've got nowhere else to go and that they've seen something or that something is being done inside their agency that they can't just let go, that they've got to speak up. And in their situation, they followed the rules, but this shows you how the FBI and law enforcement, we talk about the weaponization. There's a hearing on that right now with the Attorney General of the United States about this weaponization. It just shows what they can do to these individuals and why we don't usually get a face, get a name, get someone who can actually come and testify to Congress from the FBI, because no one is willing to do what these individuals have gone through.
Well, I mean, because they're putting their entire career and the livelihood of their families at stake. And Marcus Allen, by the way, received accolades from the FBI as like the FBI Analyst of the Year for his region, which was out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And for the FBI then to turn on these individuals, and Jordan, we had a fight. I mean, the fight was against the United States Department of Justice, because the FBI, remember, is part of the Justice Department. So we were fighting not only the FBI, but the Justice Department. And to see this ultimate vindication of a total and 100% win for Marcus Allen is it's breathtaking in scope. And again, a huge thank you to our ACLJ members who put their money where their thoughts are and their mouth is, and not only spoke out, but put their funds to work. And as you said, this would have cost Marcus Allen's family hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees, which they didn't have. And I was glad that we were able to bring this victory to them.
Yeah, I feel like the fortunate part is that here we've got the FBI and the Department of Justice having to put their security clearance back again, kind of unprecedented to even see these letters and to get that kind of win and to get their back pay for 27 months and their to get their their services, to get their health care and their insurance, but also the upsetting, the sad part about this is that the FBI's lost one of the good guys in these situations. I mean, you have to remember that these are the people who are willing to go from being a Marine, serving in Iraq, to going right into government service, serving at the FBI, and because they question a narrative internally, they get exposed as some kind of bad actor. And we lose these good guys.
Yeah, the real loser here was the American people, as you said, who lost a committed patriot, a military veteran, and an FBI analyst who was serving his country. And we lose the good guy. And that's the unfortunate thing. But again, underscore here with bold letters, that his security clearance has been reinstated, which means he will be able to work in the private sector, which will also help the country. But again, the FBI's lesson in this should be that they never put themselves in a situation again where they question someone. It's like a member of Congress saying, "Are you that Marcus Allen?" He says no, and she still plays the audio. That tells you how bad the politics of this have become.
Yeah, Dad, we appreciate you joining us. And again, I think to underscore all of this, we have to celebrate the vindication. You have to celebrate the justice, and you remember. I think, Will, what it goes to exactly. Every time I think about it, is that those donors that day who may have donated to the ACLJ, they may not have even remembered exactly when that was 13 months ago. To them, that to be able to place it, but they, the reminders of seeing the testimony, they of course remember that. But you think about all the other issues we've talked about since then, or all the other work the ACLJ. But it underscores what we're doing inside the ACLJ. That we're not always able to talk about this broadcast each day, but that when we've got movement, when we've got these successes, we're able to remind people. This is the long-term work. And again, in this situation, in 13 months, able to get this vindication for whistleblower, which in the world of the law, as we talked about, is unprecedented and not a long time.
Well, and this is something you and I talked about outside of radio yesterday, where we had a very high-profile win earlier this year, and that was in the case where they were trying to get Donald Trump off the ballot in Colorado. We represented the Republican Party of Colorado, and because the expedited basis at the Supreme Court and the quickness of which they released an opinion, we got a very quick win in something that traditionally could have taken years. But what we do at the ACLJ is we make a commitment to our clients and to our members that we're going to see it through and that we're going to fight. And many times, as you mentioned, you don't see us talking about things every day because in the external facing world, there's not a ton to really say. But the work is ongoing. The attorneys are working. The media team is working. Everyone here is working to try to bring about justice for our clients and for our members and to make America better as we continue these fights. And as this one you bring up, it took for Marcus Allen almost 2.5 years. For us being as a part of it as counsel, it took 13 months, and we have a good result, but we do keep fighting. Even when you don't hear about it, we keep fighting for our members and for our clients.
And that's, again, what we encourage you to support the work of the ACLJ and the American Center for Law and Justice at aclj.org. I think, our donor. I want to thank all of our donors. I do want to remind people, you may not have remembered donating that day, but you said you heard these stories, you said, I've got to donate. And then we come back, a year later and say, thank you for the win. Thank you for making sure you made that donation that day because it was made sure that we could get involved. And then for those who donated a month ago, it keeps us involved. And again, we can't go through every case we're reminding you to do every single day on this broadcast. But what we can do is thank you for those resources and just kind of show you how we're able to utilize your resources to get a win for the good guys, to get justice, to get vindication. As we said, an unprecedented win here to get the security clearance back of one of the good guys.